Hey, Kez, can you quit? Can you quit with the change over there, buddy?
Oh,
I hear something jingling in the background.
come
There's
on.
something jingling.
Don't lose your privilege on this interview already. I mean, I'm about to get shooed out of here. So I'll go into that story. So, first off, are we drinking the A, B, or C?
You
We'll
said
start
B.
with
You said you wanted to start with B, so let's give it a smell. Give it a taste. Well, that's good.
it's smooth.
It's smooth now. So everything that we're drinking is over 100 proof. Boy, this has got some finish on it though. It just kind of keeps finishing and finishing and finishing. It's good. But on the nose, man, I mean, this is like I'm almost getting honey in my mouth right now out of this thing. You're getting kind of like some, like it's.
I mean,
I get a,
like you said,
I feel it. Like it's finishing, but like in my mouth, like it's coated. It feels like I'm eating like honey right now.
I would agree. Or almost kind of, not maple syrupy, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same kind of sweetness. Yeah.
Maple syrup type of feel taste wise, but
so we're going to revisit all these things. Make sure you put the glass back in front of the same bottle.
I got it all set up right here perfectly, so I won't get it all confused. So to go back to the story, so we're playing in Germany, and on this particular year, for some reason, there was a heat wave, so it's really hot when it's supposed to be kind of chilly. And as good of a tournament as it is, the course isn't the best, but the thing that was really the compounding to the reaction was a lot of things, but one of them is, let me just set the tone. Like, you're having a rough day, you're grinding, getting up and down from everywhere, and the fact of the matter is, like, on top of it, it's hot, and the water they have in the coolers, and this sounds like first world problem stuff when you put it this way, but it wasn't cold by any means. Like, there was no ice on it, but it wasn't like a typical water. Like, it had like calcium in it. So it's like a hot, like milky tasting water. So like you're sitting there, you're drinking this crappy ass water. You're trying to get up and down. You're trying to, when you go out there and you're playing for some of these tournaments, trying to make the cut. And this guy, the camera was kind of up our ass all day. And I kept trying to tell him, like, hey, like, it's fine. We get you're trying to do your job, but can you give us a little bit of space so that we don't see you in the peripheral? And my job is to make his playing ability as seamless as possible at the end of the day. So for me, like, that's my concern. Even if it's not bothering him, it might bother me because I think it's bothering him, or it could bother him. So that's one of your jobs as a caddy, is to facilitate a seamless play for him, so he doesn't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So I keep kind of getting on him, and then at this point we're probably like, I mean, he's not swinging the best ball striking wise, but his short game is ridiculous, so he's making lemonade. But we're in this position, and it's not the easiest lie, like up and down, anything about it. It's really good. And it wasn't really the camera guy. Everyone keeps thinking it's the camera guy, but it's actually the person holding the antenna that speaks to the camera tower, which is usually a volunteer. They're not, they find these people, and they're not really familiar with what's going on. They're just kind of standing there with a pole in their hand, which is pretty much anyone can do. And it's not, they have to know how to move with the camera guy, but in certain cases, some of the people just aren't that good at it. And this guy was an older guy, and he had change in his pocket, and I knew that he's just rattling this change, and I'm looking at him, I'm like it's like playing charades with somebody, and you're sitting there, because if you watch the video, you're seeing me like looking at the guy, and I'm like pointing at my change, and I'm like, come on, man, like, you're killing me here. And I know that Patrick doesn't hear it yet, but I know it's only a matter of time. And sure enough, like, he gets over the ball, and then he backs off, and he hears it. And it's kind of like I said, when you're playing charades with somebody and they can't get it, you're like, it was a giraffe. Like, let's say a guy's name's Tom. Giraffe, Tom. Giraffe. It's a damn giraffe. Kind of like my reaction to the guy. I'm like, the change in your pocket, man. Like, that's what you're doing right now. That's why I'm waving at you. And that's what I was trying to communicate to you. And then he goes on to go like, as if I'm the asshole in the situation for telling him. And he's like, oh, okay. All right. Sorry. And it's not what he said, it's how he said it. And then I almost get kind of mad that I'm like, oh, you're giving me like a bunch of lip for telling you like you shouldn't be having your change. And I don't care who you are. Like when it's dead quiet and you hear something like that, it's going to distract you. Whereas if there's constant noise, something like that, just whatever, no one cares.
Right.
So and the cherry on top, and like Patrick was being good about it, but it's almost like that mob mentality stuff because he sees me getting angry. And then the cherry on top was then the guy, I go, thank you. Like, and you think that's the end of it. And then he's like, he throws his hands up like this and go and like shakes his head. And then as his hand comes down, it hits the chain. I was like, oh my gosh. Just, like, that's where I was about to freak out. And before I could freak out on the guy, Patrick goes, all right, you lost your privilege. Like this guy's you got to get out of here because just you can't have it. So it's funny. The camera guy changed, and sure enough, like by the next hole, they had a new dude on that little pole.
Nice. There you go.
Well, but it's a difference between professionals and amateurs, right? And it's and if you're jingling change and you're talking shit to your buddies and you're whatever, and there's whatever's on the line, it's like who gives a shit? This is playing for a profession, and however, whatever it takes you to get to the point that, hey, I'm going to continue to be a professional and move through this thing. That's what it takes. And that's what I need. And that's what you should get. Right.
And everyone's trying to do their job out there. And we get that. Yeah. And, they want to get as close as they can and, cool. And we'll let them know when, hey, like give us a little bit of space and, everyone's pretty cool, but it was one stupid instance and, could have been handled a little better, probably. But you just got to compound all the like, just the stress of the day, like especially for me. Like honestly, I'm surprised I handled it as good as I did because I can get, I could have definitely been a little bit more mean in that situation to the guy. But I get that he's not typically the person that's doing that job. Usually, especially on the European tour, they kind of have a good crew of people. And that person knows what they're supposed to be doing, and they're very professional. But this was a case where it's like a random volunteer that you've never seen before, and you probably never see again.